Hi there, welcome to the archives. So today I'm going to do a book share. So this is called Game Changers, Stories of Hijabi Athletes from Around the World. So Game Changers, it's by Charlene Smith, and the foreword is by Shireen Ahmed, and it's illustrated by Natalya Tariq. Basically, this book just goes is trying to break through some of the misconceptions of Muslim women, because oftentimes just because they cover their hair and wear hijab, they're seen as weak or submissive, because they cover their hair, and that's not necessarily true. Also, just a reminder that a lot of different people cover their hair, right? Even if you don't think so. So I think there are some Jewish women who will cover their hair. They will wear wigs. Some initiated priestesses will cover their hair. Some I've seen Sikh women who cover their hair. Hindus will cover their hair sometimes if they go to temple or in ritual. So a lot of people all over the world cover their hair for different reasons, right? For a long time, until I started locking my hair, I usually don't show my natural hair, for different reasons, right? And so just a reminder that people cover their hair or choose not to show their hair for many different reasons, including Muslim women, right? And so the book talks about um, why it was written, basically to show representation to Muslim girls and women all over the world that you can be athletic, you can be active, you can play sport and still cover your hair. And so it covers different athletes from all over the world who are engaged in different types of sports. There's ice hockey, there's basketball, skateboarding. I read about a Palestinian skateboarder last night, volleyball. So, like I said, I'm going to come back next year to share some of the individual women, after as I'm doing the 36 warriors and queens. So I think I'll be doing a lot more of that, is featuring different women who have shaped, the world, right? Just, I think, especially right now, that's needed with the pushback on feminism and some of this weird, bizarre. I've seen posts that are like, I'm not a feminist, I know how to cook. Like, wow, you sound really ignorant. Because I definitely know how to cook, right? Like, so it's just these weird. There's a lot of, obviously, right now, especially with the conservative right wing, um, agendas with Christianity, even with Islam. So many different religions are pushing this idea that like women are supposed to like go back into the kitchen and retreat and be in the house, right? Barefoot, pregnant. All you're good for is cooking, cleaning, child rearing, right? And a lot of these women push back and say, actually, we can also play sports. We can actually be athletes as well too. So at the back of the book, like I said, it goes through a bunch more. There's Abtaha Maqsood. I forgive me if I'm pronouncing these names wrong. So there's way more that they share. I'll just quickly go through some of the athletes that aren't featured in the book that I'll feature later. There's so the 16 or so I will share more in detail as I get through them next year. Like I said, I finished it last night, but at the back, like you could see, it says more. You see it? More hijabi athletes. So these are the ones I'll go through really quickly. Abtaha Maqsood is a Scottish cricket player of Pakistani heritage who plays for Scotland's women's national cricket team. Aifa Azman is a squash player from Malaysia who has won 11 professional squash association titles and competes around the world. My geography is really bad right now, but I get really excited because I'm like, Scotland, what is Scotland's capital? Edinburgh? Malaysia? Kuala Lumpur? Amira Sackett is an internationally acclaimed hip hop dancer, choreographer, and dance teacher in the United States. The United States is Washington, D.C. These are the capitals. Um, Amreen Kadwa is a rugby player from Canada. Woo! I love rugby. I played rugby myself. And I am a Canadian as well too, so that's really exciting. Ottawa is our capital here. Amreen is a founder and executive director of Hijabi Ballers. Then there's Aries Susanti Rahayu is a speed climber from Indonesia. Indonesia is Kuala Lumpur. No, Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur. Indonesia's Jakarta. Huh. Indonesia City? Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur. Jakarta is where? Indonesia? Um, Aries Susanti Rahayu is a speed climber from Indonesia who earned the nickname Spider Woman when she broke the world record in women's speed climbing by racing to the top of the climbing wall at the 2019 International Federal Federation of Sports Climbing World Cup in 6.99 seconds. Wow, that's really fast. That's like Usain Bolt fast, but she's climbing up a wall. Asmahan Asmahan Mansour was told she couldn't play with her team in the soccer tournament when they traveled to in Quebec unless she took off her hijab. Aria, I would rather you not do that. Aria, 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 Aria. 1 second. Thank you. Um, Asmahan Mansour. So Canadian, she was told she couldn't travel with her soccer team unless she took her hijab off. She was just 11 years old. She chose her hijab, and her team stood with her, withdrawing from the tournament. That's solidarity, right? She spent 7 years fighting against FIFA's no headgear rule until it finally changed in 2014. So this book goes through a lot of the challenges that different hijabi athletes have faced in trying to get their sport to recognize that they can dress modestly, right? They cover their hair. There's a basketball player I'll talk about next year who the NCAA said she couldn't. She had to show her neck, and she was like, I can't show my neck. And so a lot of them changed the rules in their games in their different sports. Batuli Kamara played basketball at the University of Kentucky and the University of Connecticut. She went on to play professionally in Spain and was a member of the Guinea's women basketball team. Ooh, Guinea. Guinea-Bissau. No, Guinea-Bissau. Bissau? Guinea. What's the capital city of Guinea? Conakry. She founded Wake Women and Kids Empowerment, a nonprofit organization that empowers young girls through sport and education. There's Belkis Abdul Qadir is a legendary basketball player who was a star on her high school and college teams. She was instrumental in having the International Basketball Association rule against head covering in 2017. Ferouz Gabala started running in high school and also competed in martial arts. She continued her track and field career at the University of Prince Edward Island. Prince Edward Island, PEI, is in Canada. That's on the east coast. Its capital city is Charlottetown. Hidia Malik represented Egypt. Egypt's capital is Cairo. Sorry. Hidia Malik represented Egypt in both the 2016 and the 2020 Summer Olympics and won a bronze medal in Taekwondo each time. That's exciting. That's Taekwondo. Ibtihaj Mohammed. I read Ibtihaj's memoir. I don't know if you read it. She's an American fencer. Um, Ibtihaj Mohammed was the first American Muslim woman to compete in the Olympics wearing a hijab. She won a bronze medal in fencing in the team saber event at the 2016 Olympic Games. Her memoir is really, really good. There's Jamad Finn, played basketball, college basketball, and served as captain of the Somali national women's basketball team. Somalia. Mogadishu? Mogadishu? Somalia. National basketball women's team. She competed in international FIBA tournament and she runs basketball camps for girls. Khadija Diggs was the first hijabi to represent the United States in triathlon. Donald Trump has been coming from. I'm also thinking about. Um, yeah, Mogadishu. Yeah, I got it. Okay, I was also thinking, Aria, please don't do that. About the attacks on the Somali community recently. Mogadishu, yeah, is Somalia's capital. I got it right. Sorry, I got distracted. Khadija Diggs was the first hijabi to represent the United States in triathlon. Khadija worked tirelessly to have appropriate triathlon suits available for hijabi triathletes, making the sport more accessible to Muslim women. So triathlon, that's where you are running, you are swimming, and you are biking. And I learned yesterday that a full triathlon, you have to complete it in 17 hours, I believe. Khadija Mila is a jockey in the United Kingdom. United Kingdom is London, that's the capital. She was 18 years old. She won the Magnolia Cup, a prestigious all-female amateur horse race. Khadija was the youngest and least experienced jockey in the lineup and the first ever to compete while wearing a hijab. I'm going to pause it here and continue on the next video because this is 15 minutes and I think I want to spend some more time going through some of the other athletes. So again, this is a book share. It's called Game Changers, and these are stories of hijabi athletes from around the world. There's a lot just to countering some of the Islamophobia right now. I think a lot of the ignorance is not knowing, right? We just assume based on the media, based on stories our own families tell us, especially if you grow up like Christian or something, or Hindu, for instance. There's a lot of Islamophobia against Muslims. And so I took it to read because it helped me break through a lot of stereotypes, right? Of what we think Muslim women are, who we think they are. And just because of someone's religion, we have a whole slew, we just put them in a box, right? So I'm going to pause it here and I'll come back to continue sharing some of the other ones. Like I said, next year I'm going to go through individually, take some more time with the athletes that are featured in it. But at the end of the book, it has a bunch more. Like you can see all of these different athletes, right? Like how much have we already learned in terms of the different hijabi Muslim women who engage in sport. So BRB. Until next time, in solidarity.